Hi, this is Trey Pastor. Welcome to my review of Punisher Season 2 on Netflix. It debuted last Friday. Okay, and this review is going to have spoilers in it because I don't know how to talk about a lot of this stuff without uh, kind of giving you details about it, so I'm going to put spoilers in this, obviously. Okay, so if you don't want to know, then, watch another video. But this movie, again, this Season 2, uh, finds Frank Castle, aka John Barenthal, who plays Frank Castle, who I loved in the first season. He's driving through the Midwest somewhere, driving through the band. He kind of stops at a bar for a beer and listen to the music, and just he's vibing good. He's having a good time, and he's kind of chatting up a little bit with the female bartender there. And of course, Frank being Frank, he can't stand anybody abusing or taking advantage of a woman. And when a drunk customer tries to take advantage of the woman, he takes care of him, Frank Castle style, of course. Now, obviously, which kind of endears him to the the female bartender, who they have a nice little intimate moment, a little one night stand. But they kind of bond, and he he's about to go his own separate way, and they actually they kind of open up to each other, and she tells him she's a single mom, and he tells her that he had a family and stuff, and he kind of gives her the name of Pete at first, but then he eventually does open up and tell us about his family and all that stuff, and he's headed out of town. He really doesn't want to stay, but she kind of invites him, tells him that the band is going to play a second night there, so if he feels like he can stop by. So reluctantly, on his way out, he decides to, what the hell, and drives back and shows up again, and where he's just he's again vibing with the bartender and enjoying the music. When a character named Rachel enters his life, this is a young girl who seemingly we don't know anything about. She comes into the bar with carrying a backpack and trying to make a call. She makes a call to a friend saying that that she needs somebody to meet. Yeah, actually, she makes a call saying that calling this guy saying, "Listen, I want to give you this information. I want to give you this item, and you need to come now. Meet me at this bar." Okay, and of course, we find out later that this gentleman that she's calling is actually a Russian. Okay, a Russian who is being currently tortured by another character that we don't know his backstory yet, but eventually will become the character named Pilgrim, and I'll explain that as we go along. Uh, and anyway, they agree, there's going to send somebody, she thinks somebody's going to meet her there, but actually, they actually send basically a team after her, and we don't know exactly why they're coming after her, but they send basically this team of professionals, looks like a team of professionals after her, and Frank Castle sees this, and he obviously intervenes, of course, doing what Frank Castle does, basically, you know, kicking ass and taking names, and basically he winds up destroying the bar and stuff, and killing a lot of people. And he grabs a reluctant Rachel, and they grab the bartender who who gets actually winged, and he drops her off at the hospital, and he basically goes on the run with Rachel. Okay, he's trying to find out from her, and she really is not opening up to him. He's trying to find out exactly why this team of professionals are after you. What do you have? And eventually she opens up to him and basically tells him that her friends are trying to blackmail these pictures. You have this blackmail pictures of this politician that they were trying to kind of and a Russian guy they were trying to blackmail, and the friends wind up getting killed literally. Okay, and Frank Castle's saying, okay, now that I know what I'm dealing with, he prepares, and of course he does his usual Frank Castle stuff, where he basically winds up killing a bunch of more people and protecting Rachel. And I think at this point, Frank has a code, so, but I think also at the same time, I think this young girl he kind of takes to her like as a father figure. He kind of feels protective of her, and I think that's because, of course, he had a daughter and stuff, and he had kids. So I think he kind of takes her under, she's a smart mouth and all that stuff, but he knows that a lot of that is just being trying to be brave, and she's really scared. So he kind of takes her under his wing. And what happens eventually is Frank gets noticed of all this bloodshed, and he actually they actually wind up getting arrested by the local sheriff while they're on the run. Okay, and then we get really introduced to the character of Pilgrim. We find out that he actually is a former hitman who's currently is part of a sort of a he's probably been born again, and you can see he has faded tattoos and stuff, and but now he's really a religious guy. He's really he's got a wife who's currently sick, but you can tell that he's into the church now, and he has two young sons. The wife is really sick, but he actually works. Okay, he works with this real powerful family. Okay, that they use him basically to do their dirty work. To do things that has to be done, such as murder and whatever else they need him to do. Okay, and they basically tell him, that he has to find this girl because she has pictures that could hurt their son. Their son is a U.S. senator, I believe, in this, and they potentially want him to be, eventually run for president. But they know if these pictures come out, of course, pictures of him kissing another man, this Russian gangster, that of course his career would be kaput. Okay, so they actually send him after this girl to find. And and of course to find Castle, because they hear all the reports of Castle killing all the people that they sent before. So yeah, he's sending Pilgrim after him. And Pilgrim actually, you see him, he actually goes to the sheriff's station and basically tells the sheriff when they surround the station and say, listen, just give us the girl and that's it, and then we'll go. We'll let you, and we won't kill everybody in that, basically. And it winds up, of course, he has to wind up basically letting Frank, unleashing Frank, because they basically shoot up the precinct and they're basically trapped. And he knows that Frank is really can handle himself, even though he's slightly injured. And Frank does what Frank does, and he basically winds up slaughtering most of the people in the woods. And Pilgrim makes his escape. Okay, and then of course we find out Madonna, Agent Madonna, who we found from season 1, who was involved with Billy Russo, who wound up getting shot by him. Okay, she finds out that Frank has a situation, and she actually comes in and brings him back to New York, and he explains the situation to her, and she takes him reluctantly back to New York with her. And then of course Frank meets up with Curtis, his old friend and stuff, and he kind of gets a place to hide her out. Rachel, we find her real name is Amy, and he hides Amy in this trailer while he does some investigating. And of course he finds out at the same time that Russo, he's having nightmares. He's being treated by this doctor named Krista, and we can tell even this doctor Krista, she has her own issues, of course, that that she's dealing with, but she's treating Russo. And of course Agent Madonna doesn't believe that he basically, because he says that he can't really remember what happened. He just has nightmares about when Frank was basically rearranging his face against the window, against the glass in the amusement park in the season finale of season 1. So he's he's freaking out. He can't remember stuff, and she's trying to calm him down and stuff, and give him therapy to try to make him better and remember things. And of course he snaps one day and breaks out literally and beats the crap out of 2 cops and leaves. Okay, and then of course he turns up later at this Krista, this psychiatrist's house, and instead of her turning him in, she of course decides to help him and hide him out. Okay, and at the same time Frank finds that out that Russo is still alive, and he basically tells Curtis, listen, we're going to put him down. Okay, because there's a moment where Russo goes and he confronts Curtis. He remembers Curtis, but he doesn't remember everything about their their relationship. So he's kind of fuzzy with the details, and he's trying to remember. And the doctor Krista, she's trying to get him to remember stuff. And at the same time, Frank is saying, listen, if I'm going to do it right this time. I'm not going to leave him alive. I'm going to kill him. Okay, and of course, Russo is having these flashbacks, and he remembers Frank's name, and he remembers that they were close, but he doesn't remember exactly why the Punisher wants to kill him. Okay, which is another thing. Of course, at the same time, Frank is trying to track the people that Amy was trying to blackmail and try to get that resolved and stuff. And he meets with a couple of those characters. But the main thrust of this season is basically Frank protecting this girl Amy, and and at the same time having to deal with Russo, who escapes from the hospital, and he basically starts to go back to his old ways of getting a crew together, a bunch of fellow vets, and and pulling robberies and stuff. And at the same time, Frank is trying to deal with the Amy and the blackmail with the Russians and the politicians. He's trying to get Russo, trying to track him down with the help of Curtis. Okay, and I really liked this season. This season was really nice, and I liked, again, the relationship between Amy, Rachel / Amy, and Frank, because he really took her. You can tell he really thought of her as like a daughter, and he was really protective of her, and he really wanted protect her and get her out from under this. And of course, he has to deal with this politician deal with the Pilgrim character, which is another good character. I like the actor who played Pilgrim. I don't remember his name, but the actor who played Pilgrim, he's been in a lot of TV shows and stuff. And he played, like I said, his character that he plays, like I say, now he's religious, but you can tell his backstory that he used to be part of the mob and stuff. And he used to, he was a gangster, but I think they say basically that he stole money and he left, but he wound up getting shot, and these religious people found him and healed him up, and of course, and he owes everything to them, and that's why he works for this family, this powerful family, headed by I think the guy, what's this guy's the actor? I can't remember his name. Uh, Jesus Christ, hold on. What's her name? Jeez, I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the names, but they're two older veteran actors. Corbin Burnson, I'm sorry, that's his name. Corbin Burnson. He plays like the and Annette O'Toole. Jeez, that's right. Corbin Benson and Annette O'Toole. They play the parents, the real rich and powerful parents of the politician that's being blackmailed, and they're the ones that send Pilgrim to try to track down the girl and get the film back and all that stuff. And he, I like the Pilgrim character because, like I said, he's he's religious now, and he has a dying wife, and that's on his mind. He has to do this job and try to get back to his wife before she dies, because she's basically dying, and he has these two young sons. But yeah, at the same time, like I say, he's a former hitman, and he knows violence, and he's trying to be good, but of course he still has to do the bidding for this family that took him in and showed him a new way. So, but he's still a dangerous hitman, and that's a good opposite to pit against Frank. And of course we have Russo, who Frank wants to kill, no problem, and who he can't quite remember everything, and he's trying to deal with that. And then also he's dealing with the psychiatrist, who she's slightly damaged, and she's trying to get him to remember, and he's living with her, and of course they become lovers and become intimate and stuff, and so you got all these different things going on and stuff, like Frank trying to protect Amy, okay, and try to track down Russo and kill him, okay, and at the same time dealing with trying to keep her safe from Pilgrim and their rich family, okay, at the same time. And again, like I said, I really enjoyed this season a lot. I think, again, a lot of great violence and great shoot 'em ups, and again, John Bernthal is the Punisher. He's just absolutely kick-ass, and I hope that they, because I assume they're going to probably cancel Punisher, and then hopefully Disney does put it on their streaming service. I know it's extra violent, but I definitely want to see another season of the Punisher, because I think he plays the character great, and I love the character. And of course, we do get a cameo from Karen. There's a point in the story where Frank, when he's trying to track down Billy Russo, and he winds up getting shot and then captured by the police, and he's handcuffed, and of course she hears about that and she comes to see him, and they still have that good chemistry between the two of them. So Karen makes I think she's in like 2 episodes, okay, so I thought that was nice to have her in there. If they remembered that from the first season, I thought that was really nice, okay. But overall, I love this season a lot. What did I like it better than the first season? No, I think it's good, but I don't know. I think the first season was great, but I did enjoy this season a lot. Okay, I think the actors did a good job. The guy who plays Billy Russo, Ben Barnes, he's really good too, and I like the actress that played the psychiatrist, Krista. She's been in a lot of TV shows. I don't know what her name is, but I thought she was good. And of course, Corbin Burnson and Annette O'Toole, they're veteran actors, and they did a really good job. And I like the actor who played Pilgrim, because he was, like I say, he's been in a lot of TV shows and stuff, and he's a really good actor. And I like he played he had the conflict and stuff that he was trying to start a new path. Of course, working for this rich, powerful family, he had to rely on his old skills, skills that where he could kill people and get things done from his old life. And he had to. And there's a great scene where he's actually looking for Frank, and they put a bounty out for him, and he goes to these mob guys and tells them that, and they recognize him from his old life, and then they call him back there, and they basically try, because he ran out on them, they think they're gonna take him down, and he basically winds up beating the living crap out of him. Of course, he gets injured a little bit, but he winds up and you see how extremely lethal he is, and he just absolutely destroys a bar full of people Okay, that they came, that basically, to kill him, and he basically wipes them out, even though he's on this mission to track down Frank and the girl. Okay, he has to, he has to deal with that, and of course he's dealing with the fact that his wife is dying, and he promised her that he would be home, and that she wanted his face to be the last face he saw. But of course, in this show, she winds up, dying before he gets home. And of course, these people are still trying, the rich couple, Annette O'Toole and Corbett Burton, are still manipulating him to try to get those photos back and all this stuff, even though, and basically holding his kids hostage until he gets this job done. Okay, and there is the confrontation between him and Castle, which I thought was really good, and I like the way that that issue was resolved. Okay, and I really enjoyed this season a lot. Again, like I said, I want to see a season 3 and maybe 4 of The Punisher. Hopefully, because I think Netflix is probably going to cancel. You're going to hear that in a couple of weeks. They're probably going to cancel it, and then hopefully Disney streaming service, they pick it up. Please do that when you start your streaming service, because definitely want to see this character again and the characters. Okay. Anyway, oh yeah, the actress that played Rachel / Amy. I thought she looked like a young young Amy Adams. If you look at her, especially in the beginning parts of the episode, she looked like, I know she was reminding me of somebody. I was thinking, who does she look like? She looks like a young Amy Adams. Okay, the actress, and she can act. So hopefully you see her in other things, because she's really good. Anyway, I'm gonna give The Punisher season 2. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. Really good. Again, Ben Barnes, John Bernthal as the Punisher. I thought he was great. I like the actor who played Curtis, his friend, his vet friend. I thought it was good. Even that crazy psychiatrist lady, I thought she was nuts to try to get involved with Russo and stuff. And she had her own issues. She was good. And Badana, I like her. The agent Badana who got shot, was involved with. Of course, like I said, she's in this throughout the season, trying to help Frank and stop Frank at the same time, and trying to get, capture Russo after he escaped and stuff, and being obsessed with that. And of course, the actor who played Mahoney, the police detective who was in Daredevil. He was in Daredevil. I think he was in, of course, The Punisher. He's been in a lot of those Netflix series and stuff. Mahoney, the black actor who plays he's like a lieutenant or something. He was good too. Because at the same time, he's trying to capture Frank, and at the same time, they reluctantly team up and stuff. So there's a lot of issues with that, which are funny. But overall, I love this season a lot. Again, 8 out of 10 for me. Anyway, let me know what you think. Punisher season 2. What do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below. And if you like this review, please hit the subscription box down below and sub to my channel. I also have links to my social media in the description box, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. Please follow me on those. And also I have a link to my other channel, Paul's Views and Opinions. Please check that out as well and sub to that one as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.